Hey guys, quick video on how to repair a battery pack for an Xbox 360 controller. These always break on me and I took a long time to understand why actually that happens. So you gotta understand this thing has two weak points. The first weak point is this kind of tongue right there. Its job is basically to disconnect the batteries as soon as you put them out of the controller so they can stay inside the pack without oxidizing. If you look at the controller, you can see right here, you have this nose that press against this. The second weak point is those two tiny legs you see inside. They tend to go down, so yeah, the battery won't do any contacts and yeah, your controller keeps turning off. Disclaimer, this is actually not gonna go back together. It's gonna break. So you're also gonna need some super glue. I use this one, but you can use, whatever. The faster the better. This takes actually quite a long time, but I had this laying around, so I just used that. You're gonna need one of those, or whatever. You can use whatever you like. You just need a piece of plastic which is thin enough to go exactly right here. You see here, this is actually two pieces and we're gonna disconnect those two, putting this, how is it called, this spludge, whatever. Put it right there. If you have it, this is curing. As you see, I use some of this to keep it together. You can also use some tape or whatever, just until it cures so it stays all nice and snug. Let's begin. As you can see, now we broke the plastic and we work our way through it till we are through. And you can see now we're completely in and this piece is disconnected. You see? I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. It's very easy once you get the hang of it. And then as you can see, this one is broken now. So here you have the spring mechanism. Just keep that in place as is. Set it aside. And here's our mechanism. So to address this, what I like to do is just solder exactly this part. And the second issue that I talked about are those two legs. So for those two, you can just bend them a bit like this. So as you can see, they go a bit in your direction. Right there. So this should be enough. I also use a trick with magnets that I'm gonna show you later. But for now, let's go to the soldering part. So here we are, back at it again. What you're gonna need is some flux. I use liquid flux. Then of course some soldering wire. I use this one, but really you can use whatever you want. This is not that big of a deal. We just have to make sure these two touch each other in an appropriate way, of course. The easiest way for me is to take a paper clip or something like that and slide it basically in this hole right here. And that's pretty much it. As you can see now, they are touching each other. Apply some flux. What you want to do is basically heat this part and then put the soldering wire and feed it. just did not go as expected. Of course, when you're filming stuff, it never goes. But yeah, that's good enough. Like I said, you don't have to be a professional to do this. This is very easy, and there is a high tolerance on error, so you might as well test this. And if you're not very good in soldering, that's probably a good project to start with, and you know, do a better job than I did. So if you want to be very sure, you take a multimeter, set this to the beep mode, continuity. This is the setting on mine. You touch the two, if they beep, you're done. With that said, we gotta glue those two together. So how I do it is how anyone would do it. Just put some glue right here. Please focus. There you go. Be generous, but not too generous. That should be enough. Maybe even a bit too much. There you go. Now you put this in place. You basically make sure that the spring sits exactly like this behind that piece of plastic. As you can see, I cannot point that to you, but I mean, you can see it hopefully. And yeah, this side should look almost like this. And yeah, make sure you put it the right way, so this way. And while pressing this, you basically close this up nicely. There you go, it clicks. And now as you can see, it's closed. You just inspect the thing and be proud of your work. Next thing you're gonna do is take either some tape. I have some tape on hand, so I'll show you how it's done with tape. Pretty basic stuff. Put this here, you press it very tightly, and then you try to be as tight as possible while pressing it, and really keep those things, those two parts. Jesus. Yeah, the phone fell down. So keeping those two parts together, and the tape's gonna do a good job. If you wanna know if you did a good job, you just look at this side and then you press it with your hands. If you don't see any movement, you're good to go. It means you had applied enough pressure, and this has to go, as you can see, it has to work like a spring is supposed to. That's basically all you gotta do. And now, as a bonus tip, there is something that I like to do with my batteries so they have better contact to those two legs we talked about before. You just apply two tiny magnets. Let's see if I can show them to you. You see? At the end of the battery. So one on the plus, one on the minus, positive and negative. So you have a little bit more of contacting surface. There you go. So yeah, we take this one that I repaired previously. And yeah, you make sure that the part with the magnet goes on the bottom. So yeah, part with the magnet and bottom. So they're gonna be flush and they're gonna work nice and snug. Here's the controller. We put them back in as usual. Turn it on. Yeah, you can see, you can shake it, you can do whatever you want with it. You can almost break it and nothing is gonna happen to it. You see? nice, fully functional Xbox controller that now connected to my Xbox. Yay! So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked that. And if you didn't, well, it's not really my problem, but would like to know why. So other than that, have a nice day or whatever.